I was the child they despised, shut out of every reunion. But now I return in triumph, owning the very house they once used to cast me aside. For years they silenced me with sighs, excuses and empty seats at my milestones. But this year, everything changes. Because while they prepared for another reunion at the beach house, I bought it. And when they walk through those doors, they won't find the forgotten daughter they dismissed. They'll face the woman they can no longer ignore. My name is Vicky, and I am the family disappointment. At least that's what my mother Margaret always reminds me of. Whether with pointed silence or barely veiled sighs of disgust. "You're not going to let it get to you again this year, are you?" Adrian inquired, peering over the cubicle wall. His anxious expression prompted me to hastily close the email. "Of course not," I lied, attempting to smile. "Just another day at the office." But this wasn't just an ordinary day. The family beach house housed every major memory from my childhood before everything changed and I became an outsider. I recall the summer I turned 12, when everything changed. "Vicky darling, why don't you help in the kitchen?" Mom had said while Cassie was able to attend Dad's business meetings on the deck. "Brandon sweetheart, go show the neighbors your new project." While I sat alone reading books, they thought it was a waste of time. My phone vibrated. I received a text from my childhood friend Claire. "Let me guess. Another reunion email." I responded. "Bingo. Wanna bet how long before Mom calls to explain why there's limited space this year?" The answer arrived within 1 hour. My mother's name appeared on my phone screen just on time. "Vicky dear," she began, her voice full of fake sweetness. "About the reunion." "Let me save you the trouble, Mom," I interrupted, surprising myself with my composure. "The house is too full, right? Cassie's kids need their space, or is it Brandon's new girlfriend who needs the extra room this year?" The stillness at the other end was deafening. "Well, you know how it is," she finally said. "Cassie's children are at such an important age." I looked at the promotion letter on my desk, the one I hadn't told them about. The 35-year-old senior vice president is the youngest in the company's history. "Yeah, Mom, I know exactly how it is." After hanging up, I proceeded to Lance's office, my mentor and supervisor for the past decade. He looked up from his computer and read my expression immediately. "Family?" he inquired, indicating toward the chair opposite from him. I nodded and sank into the seat. "Sometimes I wonder why I still let it affect me." "Because you're human," he replied simply. "But you know what? The best revenge is success," I said with a weak smile. "No." He leaned forward, his eyes sparkling. "The best revenge is becoming so successful they can't ignore you anymore. Speaking of which, have you considered my proposal about the Richardson merger?" I took out my tablet and pushed thoughts of family aside. "Actually, I've been working on some numbers. What if we approached it from a different angle?" For the following hour, we focused on work, which is my true comfort zone. As I explained my idea to Lance, I felt a familiar wave of confidence return. This was where I belonged and excelled. Later that evening, while I was driving home, Claire called. "You know what you need?" she asked, without preface. "A plan." "A plan for what?" "To show them exactly what they've been missing. You're not that scared little girl anymore, Vicky. You're a force to be reckoned with." I came to a stop at a red light, seeing the city lights blur through my windshield. What's the point? They've made it clear where I stand. The point is, you deserve better, and maybe it's time they realize that too. After disconnecting up, I sat in my parked car, gazing over my opulent apartment complex. 10 years ago, I began as an intern, determined to prove everyone wrong. I now had everything they claimed I'd never have: success, respect, independence, with the exception of family approval. My phone received another email. Cassie shared images from last year's reunion. Smiling faces, inside jokes, and shared memories I didn't participate in. But instead of the typical pain, I sensed something else stirring within me: determination. I opened my laptop and navigated to the real estate website I had been following. The beach house's market value had decreased dramatically during the recent economic slump. Our parents could no longer afford to maintain the seaside cottage. "Time for a different kind of investment," I said to myself, pressing the contact agent button. Maybe Claire was correct. Perhaps it was time for a plan. Not for vengeance, I reminded myself, but for justice. The type that comes with compound interest. Standing in front of the board of directors, I conveyed to them that the Richardson merger is more than merely combining assets. It's about redefining market presence. My laser pointer indicated important projections on the screen behind me. Adrian sat at the far end of the conference table and gave me a discreet thumbs up. We both realized how important this moment was after spending several late nights preparing for it. And you're certain about these numbers? Mr. Harrington leaned closer, his wrinkled face examining the facts. I stake my reputation on them, I said without hesitation. More importantly, I stake the future of both our companies on them. Lance cleared his throat as he sat near Mr. Harrington. Vicky has never steered us wrong before. Her track record speaks for itself. The meeting ended 2 hours later with handshakes and signed tentative agreements. Lance approached me as the board members were leaving. Outstanding work, he said, beaming. Though I have to ask, why didn't you mention the promotion opportunity in Hong Kong? This merger's success practically guarantees you the position. My stomach constricted. The worldwide division head position was a career-defining opportunity that coincided with the impending family reunion dates. I'm still considering my options, I explained cautiously. Back at my desk, Adrian sat on the edge, coffee in hand. Spill it. What's really holding you back? This is everything you've worked for. My phone buzzed before I could answer. Cassie's name appeared over the screen. I let it go to voicemail. That's what's holding her back, Claire said, emerging with lunch bags. Family drama, as usual. I thought we were meeting at the cafe, I explained, thankful for the interruption. Changed my mind. Besides, I wanted to see the aftermath of your big presentation. She distributed sandwiches and gave me a knowing glance. So, Hong Kong. News travels fast, I said. In this case, good news should travel fast, Adrian emphasized. You can't seriously be considering passing this up because of them. My phone vibrated again. A text from Cassie. Mom is inquiring if you received the reunion email. Kindly answer. Claire grabbed my phone. Oh hell no. You know what this is? This is them realizing they can't ignore you anymore. The family gossip vine must have caught wind of your success. Give me my phone back. I reached for it, but she kept it away. Not until you promise to stop letting them dictate your life choices. I'm not. I began to protest, but Adrian interrupted me. Vicky, remember last month's charity gala when you commanded that room full of CEOs? That's who you really are. Not the invisible middle child they made you feel like. My phone vibrated a third time. Brandon this time. Hello sis, long time. Have you got a minute to chat? Suddenly, everyone wants to talk, I said dryly. Because you're becoming impossible to ignore, Claire smiled. Now, about Hong Kong. The timing, Perfect, Adrian concluded. Show them exactly what they're missing while they're playing happy family at their precious beach house. Lance appeared at my office doorway. Vicky, Mr. Harrington wants to discuss implementation strategies over dinner tonight. I stood and straightened my jacket. Text me the details. Claire raised an eyebrow when Lance left. Look at you. Power moves only. It's just dinner, I explained, but I couldn't stop smiling. Just dinner with one of the most influential men in the industry, Adrian clarified. While your family probably thinks you're still pushing papers in some entry-level position. My phone displayed another message. Mom this time. Vicky, please call whenever you can. Important family issues to discuss. Claire read it over my shoulder and snorted. Important family matters. Like how they're running out of excuses to exclude you? I took up my presentation papers, my thoughts immediately turning to the supper ahead. They can keep their excuses. I've got an empire to build. That's my girl, Adrian smiled. Speaking of building things, have you made an offer on the beach house yet? Tomorrow, I murmured, looking at my makeup in my small mirror. The agent says we're the only serious buyers in this market. Perfect timing, Claire sings. Right before they announce this year's reunion details. As I packed my belongings for the Richardson dinner, I felt lighter than I had in weeks. My family may have mastered the skill of making me feel little, but in this world, I was anything but. Hey, Adrian said as I walked out. Don't forget who you are in there. Show them what Vicky Unleashed looks like. I grinned as I thought about the beach house listing in my inbox. Oh, I intend to show everyone exactly who I am. Congratulations, Ms. Brooks. The beach house is yours. The real estate agent slid the keys over her desk, the metal surface shimmering in the fluorescent lighting. My hand trembled slightly when I lifted them. These little bits of metal symbolized more than just property ownership. They held the key to my history, and more crucially, my future. I can't believe you actually did it, Claire said, squeezing my arm. The agent smiled professionally. The paperwork will be processed by end of business day. Given the current market conditions, you've made an incredibly shrewd investment. Walking out of the office, I gripped the keys so tightly that they left impressions in my palm. My phone vibrated. Lance is calling. Tell me you closed the deal, he added without elaborating. Just sign the papers. Perfect timing. The Hong Kong position is yours if you want it. Board approved this morning. Claire collided with me after I stopped walking. Already? I thought the decision wasn't until next month. Your performance at the Richardson dinner sealed it. Speaking of which, he specifically requested you lead the merger transition team. Claire was virtually jumping from excitement after hearing both sides of the exchange. As I hung up, she grabbed my shoulders. Okay, this is literally perfect. You own their precious beach house, and you're about to become an international executive. Please tell me you're going to milk this for all it's worth. My phone rang with a text from Cassie. This weekend the family is meeting to discuss the reunion. Mom insists that you come. Please. Oh, this is too good, Claire laughed. They have no idea you own their reunion venue. Neither does the agent, I told her. I made sure the purchase went through my corporation name. Sneaky, I love it. As we headed to the car, she linked her arm with mine. So what's the plan? Before I could respond, Adrian called. Lance just told me the news. Both pieces of news. You're going to accept Hong Kong, right? I haven't decided, I said, putting him on speaker as we drove. What's to decide? It's perfect. You can run the merger from Asia, build your international profile, and let your family stew in their regrets. Speaking of stewing, Claire added, Vicky just got summoned to a family meeting about the reunion. No way, Adrian said, laughing. Are you going? I turned into the coastal road, going for the beach home, my beach house. Actually, yes, I think it's time for a visit. The familiar trip seemed odd now. Every curve in the road, every glimpse of ocean between the trees, belonged to me in a manner it had never done before. I stopped in front of the large Victorian house, which had worn blue paint and white trim just as I recalled. Claire whistled softly. I forgot how gorgeous this place is. No wonder they're desperate to keep the reunions going. I walked up the steps and unlocked the door with my new keys. The house smelt like sea salt and memories, summer nights, family dinners, and hushed conversations. But beneath it all was the wonderful perfume of success. My telephone rang. Mom. Vicky, are you coming this weekend? Cassie said she texted you. Actually, Mom, I'm at the beach house right now. Silence. Then, what? How? The realtor said it was sold. Did she? Interesting. I moved across the living room, my fingers tracing the familiar walls. Don't worry about it. I'll see you this weekend. I hung up before she could reply. Claire was recording everything on her phone, scarcely able to suppress her excitement. That was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Did you hear her voice crack? Send me that video, Adrian requested across the speaker. I need it for posterity. I opened the French doors to the terrace and breathed in the ocean air. You know what's funny? They always said I didn't understand the value of family tradition. But I'm the one who saved it by buying it out from under them. Claire smirked and said, Sometimes the best revenge isn't about destroying something. It's about preserving it on your own terms, I explained, watching the waves crash below. My phone vibrated again. Cassie, Brandon, and Mom appear in quick succession. I disregarded them all. So, Adrian's voice crackled over the speaker. What's the next move, boss? I grinned, thinking of the forthcoming family meeting. Now, we prepare for a reunion they'll never forget. Claire asked, Do you want company this weekend? I make an excellent witness. No, I replied, bringing out my laptop. This is something I need to do alone. But first, I have a Hong Kong acceptance letter to write. Standing on my veranda, overlooking the ocean, I could feel the final parts of my plan fitting into place. The fearful little girl who used to hide in this house's corners was vanished. In her place stood someone they hadn't expected, someone they had to finally admit. The sound of automobile doors slamming startled me from my laptop. I'd been working on merger documents all morning, admiring the seaside view from my new home office, when familiar voices emerged from the driveway. Mom, I'm telling you, Vicky was acting weird on the phone, Cassie said, her voice echoing through the open windows. She's always weird, Brandon said. Remember last Christmas? I closed my laptop carefully, my heart racing. They were early. The family meeting wasn't scheduled to happen until tomorrow. Through the glass, I saw them unloading their cars as if they owned the place, which they no longer did. My phone vibrated. Adrian. Game time. They're here early, I replied back. Wish me luck. Show no mercy, was his immediate response. I heard the rattling of keys at the front door, followed by confused voices. Mom, your key isn't working, Cassie said. That's impossible. I just had it checked last month. I walked downstairs, each step calculated and deliberate in my Louboutin heels. The click of my heels on the floor silenced the noises outside. I grinned as I opened the door, taking in their surprised expressions. Looking for something? Mom's hand rose to her chest. What are you doing here? How did you get in? I live here, I simply stated, stepping aside. Please come in, my house is your house. Literally. The silence that followed was delightful. Cassie's mouth expanded and closed like a fish. Brandon dropped his duffel bag. What do you mean you live here? Mom eventually said. I strolled into the kitchen, knowing they'd follow. Coffee? I just made a fresh pot. Colombian roast. I know how much you love it, Mom. Vicky. Cassie's voice had that familiar elder sister edge. What's going on? I poured myself a cup and enjoyed their uncertainty. I thought the family meeting was tomorrow. Did I miss a memo? Oh, wait. I smirked over my cup. I guess I'm not usually included in those. Stop playing games, Brandon demanded. How are you even in here? This is our family house. Actually, I brought out my phone and opened the property documentation. It's my house now. Has been for 2 weeks. Would you like to see the deed? Mom slumped onto a kitchen chair. That's impossible. We would have known. Would you? When was the last time any of you asked me what I was doing with my life? I leaned against the counter, taking in their expressions. Coffee? No? Your loss. It's imported. Cassie grabbed my phone and scrolled through the documents. This can't be real. How could you possibly afford? The same way I afford my penthouse apartment, my vacation home in Aspen, and my car collection. My tone was casual. I work. Remember work? That thing you all said I'd never figure out. Your what? Brandon sputtered. A car door banged outside again. Dad's voice echoed through the open door. Why is everyone standing around? Help me with these groceries. In here, Dad, I cried out. Let me help you with those. He appeared in the doorway, baggage in hand, and then paused. Vicky, what's going on? Family meeting came early. I took the luggage from him and unpacked them quickly. Though, I should point out, next time you might want to check with me before buying groceries for my house. Your house? He asked Mom, who was still sitting in stunned silence. Perhaps we should all sit down, I said, nodding toward the dining room. I believe we have some catching up to do. They followed me like bewildered sheep, gathering around the table where we'd shared numerous family dinners, meals from which I was sometimes banished, relegated to the kitchen to assist with dishes. So I sat at the head of the table, where Dad used to sit. About this year's reunion. You can't just buy our family home, Cassie exclaimed. This is our tradition. Funny thing about traditions, I remarked, scrutinizing my manicure. They're only as strong as the people maintaining them. When the bank called about foreclosure proceedings, where was your tradition then? Mom's head snapped up. How did you know about that? I know everything, Mom. I know about the missed payments, the second mortgage, the tax liens. I know because unlike some people, I do my research before making investment decisions. My phone vibrated again. Claire. Need a backup? It's all good. Operation Karma is currently under progress. I responded back and grinned as I looked up at my family's surprised expressions. Now, about those reunion plans, I was thinking we might need to make some changes this year. After all, I indicated to the ocean vista through the windows. New house, new rules. The sight of dawning awareness on their faces was better than any merger transaction I'd ever completed. You could have told us, Cassie murmured, breaking the uneasy calm that had settled in the dining room. About your success, your career, everything. Could I? I asked, raising an eyebrow. When? Between being uninvited to family gatherings or during those holiday calls that never came? Dad cleared his throat. Now Vicky, that's not entirely fair. Fair? I laughed, my voice sharp enough to make Mom cringe. Let's talk about fair. Remember my college graduation when you all skipped it because Brandon had a soccer game? That was different, Mom said softly. Brandon was up for a scholarship. Which he didn't get, I concluded. Meanwhile, I was accepting my MBA with honors. Not that any of you knew, since you never asked. My phone vibrated. Lance. The Hong Kong announcement will be made public tomorrow. Do you want me to delay? Perfect timing. Proceed as planned. I texted back. Brandon leaned forwards. So what now? You're going to hold this over our heads? Make us beg to use our own family house? Your family house? I asked as I walked to the newly refurbished kitchen. Come see what your family house looked like when I bought it. The rotting deck boards, the leaking roof, the outdated wiring that was one storm away from burning this place down. I opened a folder on the counter and laid out the before and after images. 60,000 in repairs just to make it livable. Another 100,000 in renovations. Where was your family pride then? Cassie picked up a photograph, her face pale. We didn't know it was this bad. Because none of you bothered to check. You just assumed everything would magically take care of itself. Like you assumed I'd never amount to anything. Dad stood up abruptly. That's enough. We may have made mistakes, but you're still our daughter. Am I? I turned to face him. Because from where I'm standing, I've been your afterthought for 20 years. My phone flashed up with a news alert. The Hong Kong announcement leaked early. Mom's phone buzzed seconds later, and her eyes widened as she read. Vice President of International Operations, she muttered. Vicky, you're moving to Hong Kong? Among other things. I smiled as I poured myself another cup of coffee. The merger I just closed is worth more than this house and everything in it. Cassie grabbed Mom's phone and read aloud. Youngest executive in company history, revolutionary merger strategy projected to triple market share. Impossible, Brandon murmured. You're just Vicky. Just Vicky? I said gently. Funny how that works, isn't it? The daughter you never believed in now owns your precious beach house and runs a global division. Dad sank back in his chair. Why didn't you tell us? I did. Every time I tried to talk about work, you changed the subject to Cassie's kids or Brandon's latest venture. Every achievement, every promotion, met with polite disinterest. My phone vibrated again. Adrian. Stocks rose 12% following the Hong Kong news. You're currently trending on LinkedIn. Mom was still glancing at her cell phone. These numbers, Vicky. These are more money than you can imagine, I explained. Yes, they are. And that's just the beginning. So what happens now? Cassie inquired calmly. With the reunion, with everything? I strolled to the windows and looked out at the ocean, which I now owned. Now we do things differently. The reunion will happen, but under new management. Brandon questioned, what do you mean? Meaning, I've already booked the top floor of the Four Seasons for everyone. The beach house? Needs some private time with its new owner, I said, turning back to face them. You're kicking us out? Mom's voice broke. No, Mom, I'm showing you what it feels like to be excluded. The difference is I'm doing it with 5-star accommodations and an ocean view. Dad stood up. This time more slowly. We deserve that. All of it. But Vicky, are you sure this is what you want? What do I want? I asked each of them in turn. What I want is 20 years of missed birthdays and ignored accomplishments. What I want is an explanation for why I was never good enough. But since I can't have those things, I slid a stack of hotel reservations across the table. I'll settle for watching you all realize exactly what you missed out on. Cassie grabbed a reservation, gasping at the room description. This must have cost less than an hour of my new salary, I interrupted her. Consider it a parting gift before Hong Kong. How long? Mom inquired, her voice quiet. How long will you be gone? I grinned, remembering all the family gatherings I'd missed over the years. Long enough for you to understand what absence feels like. Now, shall we discuss those new reunion rules? The silence that followed was filled with 2 decades of regret, none of it mine. As my family checked into their apartments, the Four Seasons lobby was buzzing with activity. I stepped back, watching Cassie's children race about the marble columns as Brandon uncomfortably attempted to impress the concierge with small chat. Your car is ready, Miss Vicky? The valet approached with a subtle bow. Mom's head whipped around in response to his tone. I saw her eyes widen as she noticed my Bentley waiting outside. Vicky, she cried, hurrying over. We need to talk, properly talk. Actually, I have a meeting. I looked at my watch. The merger doesn't pause for family drama. Please. She touched my arm. It was the first physical interaction we'd had in years. Just coffee. 20 minutes. I examined her face, seeing fresh wrinkles around her eyes. Fine. The rooftop lounge, 15 minutes. Mom fidgeted with her coffee cup upstairs while I handled urgent Hong Kong-related emails. Eventually she spoke. I didn't know you were so accomplished. Clearly. I put down my phone. Though you never asked. We thought. She hesitated, looking for words. After you dropped out of law school. I didn't drop out, I stated firmly. I got accepted to business school instead. A full scholarship to Harvard. Which you'd know if you'd bothered to read any of my letters. Your father and I, we just wanted you to have a stable career. Like Cassie's law practice that she never actually started? Or Brandon's string of failed startups that you kept funding? Claire stepped in, stopping short as she noticed us. Oh, sorry. I can come back. No, stay. I motioned her over. Mom was just explaining why they never believed in me. Mrs. Brooks, Claire responded coolly. Long time no see. Though I guess you wouldn't remember me from all those holidays I spent with Vicky while you were at Cassie's house. Mom had the decency to appear embarrassed. Claire, of course I remember you. Save it. Claire sat down. I'm just here to finalize the Hong Kong details with Vicky. You know, for her massive promotion that you all ignored. My phone vibrated. Cassie. Mom? Okay. She seems upset. I responded back. She's fine. Learning some harsh realities. Vicky. Mom's voice was hardly audible. Were we really that terrible? Claire snorted, but I raised a hand. You weren't terrible, Mom. You were indifferent, which was worse. We can fix this, she begged. Now that you know I'm successful, I concluded. Now that I have money and power and influence? That's not fixing things. That's just changing your mind because I proved you wrong. The door opened again. Dad this time. Your mother's been gone a while. Oh, join us. I motioned to an empty chair. We're having a lovely chat about family dynamics. He sat heavily. Vicky, about the beach house. Already done, I interrupted him. The back taxes are paid, the liens are cleared, and the property is fully renovated. You're welcome. That's not, he began. Not what you meant, I said with a forced smile. No, it never is. Claire unlocked her laptop. Vicky, we need to finalize your Hong Kong housing allowance. They're offering 3 options. The penthouse at Victoria Harbor. I remarked without looking. I already decided. Mom's coffee cup rattled. Penthouse? Did you think international executives lived in studio apartments? Claire inquired pleasantly. My phone lit up with another text. Brandon. Tonight we're having a family supper. My reward. Can't. I responded. Board supper at Lerna Dan. Vicky, Dad leaned forward. We know we messed up, but pushing us away now, buying the beach house, moving to Hong Kong, is this really the answer? I stood and smoothed my skirt. The beach house isn't about pushing you away. It's about taking control of something you never thought I deserved. As for Hong Kong, I cracked a joke. That's just good business. When will we see you? Mom's voice broke. I'll be back for the holidays. I gathered my belongings. Maybe, if I'm not too busy running my division. Claire stood behind me, her face triumphant. Don't worry, Mrs. Brooks, I'm sure Cassie will keep you updated on all the family news. She always has before. As we walked out, I heard Mom start crying. A part of me wanted to return and console her like I had always done, but that part was shrinking with each passing day. Are you okay? Claire inquired in the elevator. I checked my reflection in the mirrored walls and adjusted my fancy blazer. Never better? Ready for that board dinner? Born ready, she said with a smile. Though I have to ask, are you really going to make them stay at the hotel all reunion week? I smiled when the elevator doors opened. Oh, that's just the beginning. Wait until they see what I have planned for Christmas. The reunion dinner at the Four Seasons Ballroom turned out exactly how I had hoped. Crystal chandeliers gleamed overhead. String quartet melody drifted through the air, and my family sat at the main table, looking awkward in their business casual dress amidst the formal surroundings. Is this really necessary? Brandon asked, tugging on his borrowed tie. When I forgot to specify the dress code, the concierge supplied emergency formal clothing. You mean the 5-star catering? The premium open bar? The private balcony overlooking the ocean? I was sipping on champagne. Consider it making up for all those reunions I missed. Cassie's husband whistled when the waitresses brought the appetizers. This caviar is real beluga, isn't it? Only the best for the family. I grinned. Though I'm sure it's nothing compared to the sandwich platters you usually serve at reunions. Mom had not touched her supper. Vicky, can we talk privately? I brought her to the balcony where the ocean wind conveyed the aroma of salt and money. Behind us I could hear Cassie's children gushing at the chocolate fountain. This is cruel, Mom stated gently. Cruel. I turned to face her. Treating my family to luxury is cruel. You know what I mean, flaunting your success like this, the way you flaunted Cassie's law school graduation or Brandon's engagement party. I leaned on the guardrail. The parties I wasn't invited to. We were wrong, she muttered. Is that what you want to hear? What I want, I replied cautiously, is for you to realize exactly what you missed out on. Every promotion, achievement, every milestone you overlooked lead to this. Being able to book a whole hotel floor without blinking is a goal for me. The balcony door opened. Lance had come. Vicky. He nodded and turned to Mom. Mrs. Brooks, I'm Edward Sterling. I've been mentoring your daughter for the past decade. Mom's eyes widened. You're her boss, the one from the news. Actually, Lance smiled. As of next month, Vicky will be my equal in the corporate hierarchy, possibly even my superior given her trajectory. I watched Mom assimilate this knowledge, allowing the truth of my triumph to sink in. The Hong Kong position, she explained softly. It's really that significant, Mom. I laughed. I'll be running operations for half of Asia. My signing bonus alone could buy the beach house twice over. Lance checked his watch. Speaking of which, the Tokyo office is waiting for our call, shall we? I turned to Mom and said, of course. Enjoy the rest of dinner. The dessert course includes gold leaf. Try not to think about the cost. As we walked away, Lance muttered, brutal. I love it. Adrian had returned to the ballroom with a surprise, copies of tomorrow's Wall Street Journal, which included my face in the business section. Hot off the press, he stated, handing them out to my stunned family members. Thought you might want a souvenir of your daughter's success. Dad grabbed a copy with shaky hands. Global market leadership. Revolutionary approach to international commerce. Don't strain yourself, Dad, I said. The numbers might be a bit overwhelming for a small-town insurance agent. Cassie read aloud to her husband. Youngest executive to lead Asian operations projected to increase market share by 300% within 5 years. Vicky. Brandon stood up abruptly. Can I talk to you about a business opportunity? Sorry, little brother. I examined my phone. My investment portfolio is fully managed, but I hear there are some great entry-level positions at my company. The string quartet resumed playing as servers brought out the main course, Wagyu beef with truffle sauce. I saw my family strive to keep their cool amidst the luxury they never imagined their forgotten daughter could bring. The concierge stood at my elbow and said, Your car is ready for the Tokyo call. Thank you, Thomas. I handed him a $100 cash. Make sure my family gets anything they need. Of course, Miss Vicky. As I gathered my belongings, Mom grabbed my arm. When will you be back? From Hong Kong. I gazed around the ballroom at the splendor, my startled family, and the life I'd created without them. You know what, Mom? I'm not sure. But don't worry. I'll send pictures. Just like you all did with the reunion photos all these years. As I walked out, I heard Adrian make an announcement to the room. And wait until you hear about her new penthouse in Victoria Harbor. The sound of my heels on marble reverberated across the lobby. Each step took me away from the family who never believed in me and closer to the empire I'd created on their mistrust. Let them eat Wagyu, I reasoned, and choke on each golden bite. As I packed the rest of my belongings for Hong Kong, the morning sun cast a golden light on the beach home. Claire sat on my bed, assisting me in sorting through old photos I discovered in the attic. Take a look at this one, she said, holding out a faded picture. Your 10th birthday. You're the only one looking at the camera while everyone fawns over Cassie's new puppy. My remark was interrupted by a knock at the door. Mom stood at the doorway, holding a tiny wooden box. Can I come in? She quietly inquired. I nodded and continued to pack. She perched on the side of the bed and turned the box in her hands. I found this in our attic, she explained. It's everything I saved about you. Everything I was too proud to admit I kept. She opened the box. Inside were press articles, honor roll diplomas, and even the program from my MBA graduation, which they had skipped. You kept these? My hands remained still on a silk blouse. Every single one, she murmured. I told myself I was being practical, not encouraging pipe dreams. But really, I was scared. Scared of what? That you'd succeed where I failed. That you'd break free from the small-town life I settled for. She took out a business magazine from last year that included my name and a 30 under 40 list. And you did? Claire stood silently. I'll give you 2 a minute. No. I grabbed her arm. Stay. You're more family than most of them have been. My phone vibrated. Cassie. At the beach. Can we speak? Send her up. I texted back. Cassie emerged a few minutes later, appearing uneasy in the doorway. Brandon's here too, and Dad. We wanted to see you before you left. They filed in, forming a crowded audience in my bedroom. Brandon held a manila envelope. What's that? I asked, nodding toward it. Investment proposals, he acknowledged. But not for me, for the beach house. We've all contributed, if you'll let us. I raised an eyebrow. I don't need your money. We know, Dad said, stepping forward. But we need to invest in something we should have invested in years ago. Our family. Pretty words, I said. But actions speak louder. Then let our actions show you. Cassie took out her phone. I've postponed my partnership acceptance, taking a sabbatical. Thought maybe I could visit you in Hong Kong. Really get to know my sister. And I've enrolled in business courses, Brandon continued. Online classes. Thought maybe you could mentor me. Actually do it right this time. Mom opened her box once again, revealing one final item, a key. We don't expect you to forgive us, she explained. But maybe we can build something new, something better. I looked at the key. What's this for? The front door, she said, her grin gloomy. I kept it all these years, thinking it meant something. But you showed us what really matters isn't keys or houses or reunions. It's the people we choose to become. Claire held my hand while I took the key. I'm still going to Hong Kong, I replied confidently. We know, they said together. And I'm still angry. You should be, Dad confirmed. And this doesn't fix everything. Nothing could, Mom replied gently. But maybe it's a start. I stepped to the window and looked out at the ocean. My ocean. Behind me, I could hear Brandon's papers rustling. Cassie breathes nervously. Mom's box of concealed pride. The reunion, I concluded, will alternate between here and Hong Kong. And you'll all need passports. The tension broke. Cassie giggled through tears. Brandon dropped his envelope. Dad needed to sit down. Really? Mom's voice was shaky. Really? I turned around to face them. But not because you've earned it. Because I choose it. There's a difference. Claire grinned. Does this mean I get to plan the Hong Kong reunion? Because I have ideas. You're all going to learn Mandarin, I said. And proper business etiquette. And how to navigate international markets. Whatever it takes, Brandon replied. And for once, I believed him. My phone vibrated. Lance, the car is here for the airport. That's my cue. I took my carry-on. Vicky. Mom stood. Thank you. Not for the forgiveness we don't deserve, but for the chance we didn't earn. I looked at them all. My imperfect, suffering, and finally trying family. Don't waste it. As I walked down to the waiting automobile, I could hear them following. I saw their reflections in the shiny black paint. They're no longer following me, but rather walking with me. Different, but feasible. Hong Kong won't know what hit it, Claire said as she hugged me farewell. I smiled as I reflected on the vista from my new office, the family learning to speak my language, and the future extending like the horizon before us. Neither will they, I answered, and climbed into the automobile. The beach home stood proudly behind us, no longer a symbol of isolation, but a link between who we were and who we may become. Not perfect but possible.